Today, let's take a look at how the three major positive news releases in the US immediately caused Bitcoin's market dominance to surge. It reached 59%, but altcoins are still bleeding. So is there still a chance for altcoins? After the shakeout and consolidation in September, October should traditionally be the golden dip. So, is now the time to get in, or should we wait and see? This is the BTV Chinese channel. Where is the contempt? I'm Michael, greeting everyone from Singapore. Now let's look at the most important 24 hours in the crypto world, the crypto data headlines. Today, the United States gave the crypto world a triple boost. First, Wisconsin introduced the Bitcoin Rights Bill, called Assembly Bill 471. The meaning is simple. From now on, if you use self-custody wallets, run nodes, write code, or even earn staking rewards, you no longer need to carry the burden of a special currency license. Right after that, the ICC gave the green light to DPIN, saying they would not take action against DPIN's tokens, which is basically telling everyone that DPIN's tokens are temporarily not considered securities, so the regulatory risk is gone. On top of that, the New York Stock Exchange and the ICC are having small group meetings to discuss things like tokenized stocks. So you can see that traditional finance is starting to test the waters, trying to figure out how to incorporate blockchain into their own security systems. With these three major positive developments, the crypto world is buzzing. In just 2 days, Bitcoin jumped from $108,000 to $114,800, an increase of nearly 6%. This shows that as soon as policies warm up, the market gets restless. Once innovation lands and capital flows in, there's no resistance at all. In the short term, Bitcoin is very likely to hold above $110,000, and it might even spark a wave of correlated rallies among altcoins. Now let's look at how today the crypto world is once again a tale of two extremes. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, BNB, these mainstream coins are bouncing back nicely, but a group of altcoins, especially the newer ones, are still deep in the red. If we look at market share, it tells the whole story. Bitcoin rose 7%, but its market dominance has already surged to 88%, while Ethereum remains steady at around 13%. All the altcoins have directly dropped by 3%, so the altcoins haven't officially started moving yet. This indicates that capital is flowing back to the mainstream coins. The on-chain signals are also very intuitive. If we look at Bitcoin's daily transaction count, recently it's been between 400,000 and 450,000 transactions. In September, the average was 430,000, and at its peak in September, it broke through 450,000. But what's the all-time high? It's the 600,000 transaction mark. So right now, 450,000 is considered a watershed. Why? Because according to historical patterns, whenever on-chain activity reaches around 450,000, it's often the prelude to a price surge. Of course, external policies and the macro environment can still interfere, but as long as trading activity remains high, and with the help of funding rates and ETF capital flows, the market could very well see a breakout as soon as tomorrow. Let's look at another interesting data point. According to CoinGlass, in the past 24 hours, Bitcoin on all centralized exchanges has started moving again. This time, it's flowing in with a net inflow of 368 Bitcoins. Let's check the rankings. Bitfinex has aggressively taken in 1,227. 7 Bitcoins. Bitbit made a small profit of 200 Bitcoins, and Bitflyer also scooped up 85. 44. HKEX, on the other hand, saw a direct outflow of 519 Bitcoins, making it the only one in the negative among the top exchanges. Now let's look at the on-chain 999 index. In August, it once broke through 2, which was a bullish signal, so in September this indicator dropped all the way back to 1. What does it mean when it's below 2? It means the market has returned to a reasonable range for medium to long-term accumulation. According to historical patterns, as long as this index stays between 0, 45 and 1, and 2, the accumulation strategy is guaranteed to be profitable in the long run. In other words, right now, before the next big move, the market is likely quietly gathering strength, waiting for the next major rally to break out. Please like and turn on the notification bell. We'll help you keep up with the latest trends in the crypto, blockchain, and mining circles. Click this link to see all the membership benefits. From Monday to Friday, we'll introduce a small coin each day, guiding you on how to set stop losses and letting you experience the fun of trading during a bull market. Now for today's headline, let's talk about the market, because every October is known as Bitcoin month. That's because every October, Bitcoin's gains surpass all other mainstream coins. If we overlay the 4-year cycle, then after a surge in October, November, and December usually mark the true end of the bull market and the start of the bear market. But this year is different. In September, the Fed cut interest rates, and there may be more cuts in October and December. With liquidity slowly flowing in, how likely do you think a slow bull market is? So, for today's headline, let's talk about the data and take a look at how the market has been performing recently.
Historical data shows that Bitcoin has performed strongly in October, with gains in 10 out of the past 12 years and an average increase as high as 21%. 89%, with particularly notable performance in bull market years like 2013, 2017, and 2021. If the Federal Reserve sends dovish signals this quarter, Bitcoin is expected to quickly reclaim $115,000 and challenge previous highs. If institutional funds also flow back into ETFs, combined with seasonal bullish sentiment, the price could potentially reach the $165,000 target, which has not yet been achieved.
I think July 17th is a very important trading date. Trump usually performs very well in the fourth phase, so I believe Bitcoin could reach $200,000 as soon as possible.
Although the data is impressive, the market in September this year was rather complicated. Bitcoin fluctuated back and forth around $112,000 to $113,000, testing the market's patience. During the same period, there were outflows from US spot Bitcoin ETFs, but around the ninth week, 903 million shows institutional defensive sentiment is rising short-term. While the Federal Reserve cut interest rates, disagreements persist about the pace and extent of future cuts. Policy uncertainty is growing, casting a shadow for the fourth quarter.
So, in this industry, besides understanding geopolitics, macroeconomics, and the policies of various regions, you also need to know a bit of metaphysics. Everyone is worshipping something these days, worshipping Uptober. What does that mean? Up means upward. Uptober is a play on October. So together, Uptober means a surge and new highs in October. So people are chanting Uptober, Uptober at home, hoping that with the power of collective belief, October will see new highs again. But after the drama in April, when everyone believed in leverage and got shaken out, the fourth quarter starting in October is destined not to be smooth. Let me ask everyone a question. Please write in the comments, what do you think is the probability of the Fed raising rates in October and December? Now, the CFTC and SEC aren't fighting to the death like last year over who regulates crypto. One says it's a commodity, the other says it's a security. Anyway, they both want to regulate it. Until next year's stablecoin bill officially takes effect, this issue will continue. So, the current acting chair of the CFTC, Caroline Pham, finally couldn't hold back and said, "We're just one record short. Everyone please be patient. Don't argue. Let's join forces and regulate together." How about that?
Caroline Pham, the acting chair of the US CFTC, stated at yesterday's joint roundtable meeting that the turf war between the CFTC and SEC over crypto regulation has come to an end. She emphasized that the two agencies will move forward with a unified and coordinated regulatory framework to reduce market uncertainty. SEC Chair Paul Atkins also denied rumors of a merger between the agencies, stressing that the focus going forward will be on policy coordination rather than institutional restructuring.
Fortunately, the Stable Currency Act gave the CFTC full control of the global currency. The previous compliance issues between the two institutions, or rather their conspiracy, indicate at least two things. First, attitudes have truly changed. Rules need to be clarified. Previously, the two institutions set their own standards, but now they need to be narrowed. Compliance needs to reduce costs. Second, influence needs to expand overseas. The United States has always been the big brother of financial regulations. If the crypto regulatory plan is implemented, the EU and Asia will likely continue to follow suit. Therefore, this is not only a reversal of the US regulatory trend, but also a watershed in global crypto market regulation. This is a serious matter. We will continue to monitor B and A and B and A. It has become a national reserve and has begun reporting to Kazakhstan. Can Kazakhstan let Bian sit on a song endorsed by the state? Will SWIFT's consensus payment rules be rewritten? Let's talk about Kazakhstan. This country is full of sorrow and resentment. In the early years, after 9 trips in 2022, some of our machines that went to Kazakhstan were completely destroyed. In October 2022, Bian obtained Kazakhstan's first regulatory license. In 2024, Kazakhstan cleared a total of 36 black exchanges. The president also called for transparent digital asset regulations. Recently, the Crypto City Plan was launched. The question is, what tricks can this wave of combined power allow Kazakhstan to pull?
The Kazakhstani government recently announced the establishment of a national-level cryptocurrency reserve fund, Alan Cryptofront, with BNB as the initial digital asset allocation. The fund is led by Kazakhstan's Ministry of Artificial Intelligence and Digital Development and operated by the Kazakhstan Venture Capital Group under the Astana International Financial Center. It is positioned as a long-term strategic digital asset reserve tool and may evolve into a national savings mechanism in the future. The initial investment scale has not been disclosed. Binance's Kazakhstan subsidiary, as a strategic partner, is deeply involved in the deployment.
Actually, one of our channel's mining partners is currently in Kazakhstan. The news he's sending from the front lines is that Kazakhstan now needs to integrate digital assets, including Bitcoin mining, and reserves, into a single chain. This means that Kazakhstan is going to start issuing licenses to Bitcoin exchanges and mining operations. And behind these licenses, it means the government will take a cut or electricity prices will rise. The current news is that they might directly take 5% to 10% from the mining pools. So, do you think Kazakhstan has any advantages in mining? Speaking of the SWIFT system, what comes to your mind? Its full name is the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication. It's expensive, arrogant, and you never know when your transfer will arrive, right? Plus, the fees are fixed, and everyone has to share the pie. Any transfer takes 3 to 5 days, and sometimes it doesn't even arrive. Just think about how powerful it is. Over 200 countries and regions, 11,500 financial institutions all use it for cross-border transactions. In other words, if any country or bank is kicked out of the SWIFT system, it's basically cut off from the global financial network. And yet, this big brother has just suddenly announced a major partnership that could disrupt industry rules. It seems they've also felt the threat from blockchain.
With all kinds of banks and all kinds of countries around the world and tens of millions of pieces of information flowing between them, that's why we need to pay attention to SWIFT.
SWIFT is working with more than 30 financial institutions and Consensys to develop a blockchain, with the primary goal of creating an all-weather, real-time cross-border payment infrastructure. The new blockchain aims to achieve interoperability between existing and emerging networks while maintaining compliance. Consensys is responsible for the first phase's conceptual design and planning for future stages. The announcement states that the new ledger will extend SWIFT's financial messaging capabilities into the digital environment and support tokenized asset transactions, with the types of tokens to be determined by central banks and commercial banks.
Big Brother is finally waking up and starting to turn things around. Of course, this isn't the first time SWIFT has tried to innovate. There have been a few attempts before. I remember one time they tried something innovative with Chainlink, experimenting with blockchain, and they also worked with a European institution, what was it called, Euroclear, to settle bonds on chain. But this time they're putting their core business, cross-border transfers, into a decentralized system for testing. However, this path is bound to be anything but smooth. They're used to a centralized model, where holding policies and official documents lets them reap profits globally. Now, if they use a decentralized system where they no longer have the final say and everything has to be run by nodes, I don't believe SWIFT's system will wake up so quickly. There will probably be 3 to 5 years of mutual struggle and friction, and I doubt this system will run smoothly. What do you think? All right, let's move on quickly.
The information revealed that OpenAI made $4.3 billion in just half a year, which is 16% more than the entire previous year. A staggering pace of profit. But they're also spending just as aggressively, burning through $2.5 billion in the first half of the year alone. On OpenSea, the new NFT strategy token has launched, and they've even thrown in 20 ETH as rewards. Simply put, it's about letting NFTs manage your finances automatically and find yields for you. Binance founder CZ, Changpeng Zhao, said he won't be attending Token 2049 in Singapore at the end of October. As for why, he laughed and said the hotels are too expensive. Turns out even big shots can be put off by high hotel prices. Big news, Bloomberg analyst Eric Balchunas said the SOL ETF is now 100% more expensive than the 19B4, so it's lost its meaning. Now, we're just waiting for the S1 to be approved, and the Solana ETF could launch at any time. Today, gold showed off again. Spot gold surged all the way to a new all-time high of $3,850 in New York, up 0.0% intraday. In short, when it comes to risk aversion, gold remains the brightest and most reliable hard currency.
Okay, today's post is a bit toxic. I want to tell you a few truths. Does so-called understanding and righteousness mean you have to tolerate others over and over again? Do you exchange your grievances for others' happiness? People often say that suffering a loss is a blessing. Well, please wish him good fortune as vast as the East Sea. So don't ask me if I'm doing well. Because if I'm not doing well, you can't help me, right? So my recovery is not your credit. You've done all the things I'm sorry for, so don't keep saying sorry. It's useless. I don't want empty apologies. I want you to feel the same pain as me. So when I get my revenge, I can also say sorry. Just remember to like him. Favoritism is never reality. Tolerance is my choice, not my obligation. My life never shines on the approval of others. We are all new to life. Why should I improve? I should tolerate. So don't use your values to judge me. Whether you hate me or like me, You can't change my life. What do you think? If you understand, please click like. That's all for today's show. All member rights are here. I hope you will take a look and spend 15 minutes a day to understand the major events in Web3. We hope to lead all members to roll up together in this period of time and slowly make money. See you on the 11th.